So, Josh, I know you got a chance to check out the trailer for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from our friends at EA and also Respawn Entertainment. So, I want to hear your thoughts. Go ahead, let me know on this single player, no microtransactions, no multiplayer, single player narrative from Respawn Entertainment and Electronic Arts, which, hmm, didn't they let go somewhere? I could hear, or I could just sense a disturbance in the force, aka Amy Henning just going, hey, that was my game first.
Oh yeah, that's right. You think they used leftover? Well, who was making that other one? That was Visceral was making that, right?
That's correct, and she was the head writer for it after she left the before during the Uncharted 4 fiasco with her coming to odds with everybody at Naughty Dog. She went over to EA to work specifically on a single player narrative Star Wars game, but it got canceled because EA thinly worded that there was going to be no more single player narrative games. It was going to be microtransaction based and also multiplayer based within the Star Wars universe. Funny how times have changed.
Right. Well, I mean, they heard the feedback from fans, and even adding that last minute campaign into Battlefront 2, right? So we got that. But if even if you look at the stuff in the trailer, you look at what the protagonist is doing on all that, he's scaling the walls and stuff. That does look like the Uncharted esque game that they were allegedly working on. So yeah, it's very
Or Titanfall 2.
or Titanfall 2. It's very interesting, very very interesting. But I mean, looking at it from an objective standpoint, it does look good. It looks fun. It looks like a because we haven't gotten a single player narrative in the Star Wars universe since The Force Unleashed, and that was a really fun game. But this looks like it actually has not a Star Wars. It is Star Wars. It has a story that's more grounded in reality, and it just looking at the tone of it, it has this gritty look to it that feels kind of like Rogue One.
Yeah, that's true. And also like the Mandalorian, which hopefully you got which hopefully you got a chance to take a look at some of the scenes that they were showing there, some of the just little blurbs that they pointed out there for the fans out there at the Star Wars celebration. I'm assuming they're going to have a little bit more hashed out trailer that they're going to produce for for social media and all that, but they got to show some images of the Mandalorian. That was pretty cool. But yes, it does look more like a little grittier underground type of deal when it comes to Jedi Fallen Order, maybe going a little bit more into depths as far as the underbelly of the actual life of and galaxy of the Star Wars universe. So that's something that's something that could be very interesting. Something similar to what we were hoping to see with Star Wars 1313, but unfortunately never got a chance or to come around to actually seeing it because that was discontinued as well. So that was disappointing when Star Wars 1313 was canceled, when Amy Hennig's single player narrative was canceled. But it looks like, at least at this point in time, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, it looks like Respawn Entertainment, the makers of Apex Legends, are going to get that, have enough cachet at this point in time to go ahead and produce a single player narrative, and we'll see how that goes for EA Games, for Electronic Arts.
Right, and who's to say that they're not using recycled assets from some of these canceled games? It might just be things they heard the feedback of the fans going, "Hey, we don't think EA is treating this property very well," and we actually heard rumors, right, of them of Lucasfilm looking because they just reignite LucasArts, their video game company, so maybe EA is feeling threatened, like they have to give the fans something they want, and maybe this the game comes out in November, but who knows? Like this might we don't know how long they've been working on this. Again, they might have just been using recycled assets, and the game when it comes out might feel uh, iffy at best when in terms of gameplay. So we didn't really get to see any gameplay, so we don't really know much about it at this point.
Oh, well, hopefully, we will know more about it in the coming weeks and months. I would love to see some gameplay and how that translates into what we're hopefully going to be seeing from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I would love to see more in depth looks at the gameplay and how the actual universe is going to unfold before I go ahead and invest $60 into a new Star Wars game, because I'm kind of skeptical, my friend. I have Star Wars Battlefront. I got hoodwinked once when it comes to Star Wars Battlefront. I don't want to get hoodwinked twice when it comes to anything else that EA does within the Star Wars universe. I've got them back on the cheap as far as Battlefront 1 and 2, but yeah, I'm not sure. Is it me, or are you apprehensive to go ahead and purchase anything when it comes to that price spending for EA and a Star Wars game?
I don't like EA. No, I'll just be very clear on that. I do not like them at all. And just I know I said I was excited about the possibility of another Mass Effect, but I almost don't want it. So just because I'm afraid of what they're
Bite your
going.
tongue.
No, I mean I love Mass Effect, but I almost don't want it because I'm afraid that they're going to keep repeating mistakes of the past, and I would rather have Mass Effect's name stay untarnished rather than have another Andromeda come out. But yeah, I don't. Looking at this trailer, it looks cool. Looks like something I want to play. Like I had some butterflies in my stomach just seeing that thing go on there. So right now I'm sold on it, but I have to see what the gameplay looks like.
As do I, my friend, as do I. But it is coming out November 12th. It is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Will it redeem Electronic Arts in the gamer's eyes when it comes to Star Wars video games? We'll have to wait and see. But it's off to at least a good start with a good feeling of the whole entire weekend with the footage from Star Wars The Mandalorian The Mandalorian upcoming for Disney Plus, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from Electronic Arts coming November. In fact, both that and The Mandalorian are coming in November, right? Actually, days within each other. That's a future show right there for us. And then also in December, and on December 20th, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And we got a chance to take a look at the trailer there. We're impressed. We're intrigued. And again, looks like we're heading back onto that Star Wars hype train once again. What are your thoughts out there on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and The Mandalorian? Are you excited for those projects like you are The Rise of Skywalker? Let us know. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram too, as well. Coming up next, we've got our good friend Nutty Nucius from Nutty Bites, the Nutty Bites podcast, and also Beyond the Wall, and from the Nutty Bites and Beyond the Wall podcast. She's going to share her Marvel thoughts and Marvel memories as it leads into Endgame, and also some thoughts on Captain Marvel as well. Plus, and then right after that, we've got our good friend Jason Todd Feinberg from Honey Queen. He's going to share his Marvel memories as it leads to Avengers Endgame as well. And then on the back end, Josh and I are going to be talking about NAB 2019 and also the games that defined this current console generation. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos. We truly appreciate you listening to all our show. And thank you so much goes to Jason Todd Feinberg from Honey Queen and also Nutty Nucius from the Nutty Bites podcast and the Beyond the Wall show. Please check out all three of those great shows today on any of those major podcast catchers out there. We truly appreciate it if you would. And then also thank you to all of them. And hopefully you'll be hearing more stories coming up and more Marvel memories coming up in the near future on some of our shows leading into Avengers Endgame. Don't forget, if you need a listing of all the places that we're at, if you need a listing of many of the places that we're at, because we're being played around the world on radio 7 days a week, check out our listings today at Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also get a listing of many of our podcatchers like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Bullhorn, Podchaser, ESO Network, Tangibound Network, and so many of our great friends that go ahead and make it available for download at any time at your convenience as well. My friend, I know you got a great thing going on at Humanica Media, so share the goods, my friend. What's going on with Humanica Media?
You can check out Topicocalypse. I put up an interview there with the man behind the Limit, and a VR film by STX Surreal starring Michelle Rodriguez and directed by Robert Rodriguez. So you can check it out. We chat, talks about the future of VR, what other properties you'd like to get his hands on, and what the tech is doing for people these days.
That's awesome. You can check it out today on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, and many other podcast catchers, and hopefully very soon to the Podcast Radio Network as well. My friend, also, you're coming very soon. That time is the time is almost near. The Retro City Games charity game night. You want to check it out if you're in the Southern Nevada area. Check it out. Check it out April 25th. That's Thursday, April 25th, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 great video game tournaments. So if you're into Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there are great video game tournaments that are scheduled for that evening. Plus, our good friends Hyperschmidt, True Die, Vedius, and Serious Damage. They're also going to be performing live. Humanica Media, Topicocalypse, Go Brothers Gaming, Game Source, and our good friends at Mario Party Wars. They're also going to be part of it. It's just going to be a whole big shebang. It's going to be a great to-do using all that old-fangled language right there for you at the charity game night at Retro City Games. Just to enter any of these game tournaments, with the grand prize of each of those tournaments being either an Xbox One for the for Fortnite, Apex Legends, and Call of Duty Black Ops 4. First prize is an Xbox One. First prize is a Nintendo Switch for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament. So some great prizes there, plus also second and third prizes as well that are great also. So check it out. With a $10 donation, you can enter one of these tournaments. And if you enter 3 or 4, there are major in-store discounts as well. So check it out today, Retro City Games, and then join us April 25th, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Retro City Games. And also don't forget Level Up Expo that weekend, the 26th, 27th, 28th. We're going to be there on Saturday, April 27th from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. for a live Pop Culture Cosmos. That's right. Pop Culture Cosmos live with many of the friends I just mentioned out there. They're going to hang out with us. We're going to be talking Avengers Endgame, Mortal Kombat 11, Days Gone, and so much more. So please join us for a Pop Culture Cosmos live at the Level Up Expo. For ticket information for a great weekend of pop culture where there's going to be a whole bunch of exhibits, going to be a lot of cosplay, going to be video game tournaments, going to be pro wrestling, and so much more. You got to check it out. levelupexpo.com. That's LVLUPEXPO.com. My friend, we have a busy weekend coming up here in a few days, so it's going to be just around the corner, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Got a lot of good stuff going on. Tournaments and podcasting and music and the Level Up Expo. Even if you're not there, if you happen to be there, you're not there to see us, stop by. We'd love to talk to you. You have any questions we can answer. You want to know what's going on with pop culture. We are the guys to answer the questions. So stop by our thing and stick around after the show. We'd be more than happy to chat with you for a few minutes.
That's right, we would. And that's taking place, Level Up Expo, at the Las Vegas Convention Center, which just hosted the National Association of Broadcasters Convention. And I'll tell you what, my friend, there's a lot of great stuff that was there. I wish you had gone with me, my friend. For you, from a technical standpoint, it was a candy land with everything as far as what's going on, as far as behind the curtain, with production companies there and people that manufacture and showcase the latest in production equipment, from camera to editing to television production and all that. Plus, there was a great emphasis on the hybrid, the combination of podcasting and radio, and how they're going to go ahead and hopefully intertwine even more as the weeks and months to come. Talked about how people listen, what types of things people listen to on their smart speakers and how that's being integrated, the rise in popularity of that. They see the smart speaker as more of a general type listening, and then they see, as far as when you're listening in your headphones, more podcast listening because that's more personal. It was just really it was actually very interesting and educational to take a listen. I'm hopeful that radio stations will become more adaptive to podcasts such as ours that will go ahead and incorporate that into their schedule more often, because we have 3 great radio stations already that over the three great over-the-air radio stations already that that air our show, when we just cannot be thankful enough for them. Plus, so many other internet radio stations that do as well, and we're just thankful for that. And we're thankful for that as well. And to see this hybrid of radio and podcasting come together, to see these radio executives become more cognizant of the podcasting medium and how important it is and how many people listen to it, is quite encouraging. In the past, they would be somewhat standoffish about podcasting and sort of brush it off, but the rise in podcasting just makes it so much, it's almost unavoidable now, as far as from any type of medium, whether it's television, film, or even radio as well.
So do you think that that was kind of always an inevitability? The fact that, podcasts come around, radio shows decrease, but now radios are kind of seeing what people want with podcasts. So it's helping them remarket it and actually kind of grab some podcasters to bring them over to their platform.
I hope that's the case. I'm beginning to see that that's the case. There's still a little bit of apprehension there. I could feel it. But as that seems to go away and more radio stations become more receptive of podcasting and podcasting to radio, and that becomes more of a hybrid as far as so people can listen to the best of both worlds, hopefully that marriage will become even tighter in the months and in the weeks, months, and years to come. It's still not 100% there yet, but I see it on the horizon, and I'm hoping that's the case, because we would love to be on more radio stations and have more people listen to what we have to offer, because we think we have something really special here at the Pop Culture Cosmos.
I totally agree. And people should be listening to our podcast because we're awesome, right?
Yes, we are, my friend. And if you want more info on how you can put our podcast on your radio station, because we have 2 podcasts a week that we send out to the world and get distributed, that gets distributed worldwide, let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Before we head on out, my friend, I know you wanted to talk about this generation of consoles, because as the PlayStation 5 and Xbox whatever gets debuted this year, as many rumors are becoming more confirmed each and every day, we got to go ahead and talk about this current generation of gaming. I don't know if you want to include the Nintendo Switch, but at least the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The battle was clearly won by the PlayStation 4, but there were some defining games that you wanted to come up with, and that I also came up with too, that really defined this current console generation.
Right. I don't think Nintendo Switch should be counted just because they're going to be around for a while. I don't think they have any plans on. They entered the race late, and they kind of are what they are. But I do have this list of Xbox One, PlayStation 4 games, so I'll go through it right now. I got Gears of War 4 because what that really proved was that even years after the completion of a trilogy, a franchise can still come back to life, and or a story-driven franchise can still come back to life and entice an audience. And Gears of War 4 did that very well, very, very well. And I have not seen, we saw footage of Gears 5. It's supposed to be released this year, I imagine, sometime. But Gears 4 showed that there is life in a franchise after its ending. God of War would be my next one, and I would say it kind of did the same thing Gears of War 4 did, but it did it in a different way, in a way that shows you can take a character that was very one-dimensional, very flat, and all he really did was grunt, and make you care about him. So it just kind of shows what clever writing can do for a franchise that you thought didn't really have anything left in it. You can successfully reboot something into something that people want to play. Which is obvious, in all the Game of the Year awards that it took home. Forza Horizon 4, the racing genre can be reinvigorated. I got Spider-Man, superhero genre you thought was dead in gaming, still pretty good. Halo Master Chief Collection shows that these are all kind of near the end of the console life cycle, when you're finally getting something, seeing what these machines are capable of. But Halo Master Chief Collection, I got Fortnite, Uncharted 4, because you can end a series and make it a good ending, and then Final Fantasy 15. What is on your list?
My list is, you know me, I'm all about the numbers, baby. I'm all about the numbers, my friend. And with me, it has to start and stop almost with GTA 5. Because GTA 5, even though, yes, I know there were versions on previous console generations when it first came out, but the majority of the sales went on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, with the fact that it's 100 million in what 100 million in sales alone as far as the game is concerned, or actually at some point in time before it's done, it will probably reach 100 million in sales, which is just truly mind-boggling. It'd be one of the, if not the best-selling over the retail video game of all time, and that's just mind-blowing to me. But yes, Grand Theft Auto 5 does have to have a big spot on this list. Red Dead Redemption 2, the follow-up from Rockstar, obviously performed very well. Not quite as well as GTA 5, but I don't think anybody was asking for that or expecting that. But still, it is done very well, and it will define much of this generation as well. Then you have, to me, the games that are truly going to define this generation outside of GTA 5, and that's the games that were downloadable, and were mainly downloadable, and the battle royale genre that were within the battle royale genre, because the battle royale genre really kicked off within this current generation. Yes, I know it emanated from PCs first, but it really popularized itself on this current platforms, on the current platforms, which includes the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and that would be Fortnite, PUBG, and now Apex Legends. I think, when you talk about this current console generation of gaming, you won't be able to do it without talking about battle royale games, Fortnite, PUBG, and Apex Legends. And one game that should have been on this list, but is not, because it was going to be a different type of game. It was going to revolutionize gaming. There were such big plans for it. But Destiny, the game that should have been part of this mix, but is not, has to be mentioned for the fact that it was the game that just truly never was, but helped design as far as the raids and the contemporary way we play on console gaming, with some other games of ilk like oh my gosh, hold on.
I'm talking about like loot shooters.
Yeah, well, with loot shooters and all that, as far as the loot shooters and
The Division, I guess would be.
yeah, the Division. Obviously, that game, it was heavily influenced by Destiny, but also other games like Anthem, and there are a few others that wanted to go ahead and build upon the raid narrative that Destiny went ahead and really popularized to an extent, but not quite to the extent that made both Activision and Bungie overall happy together, because ultimately the lack of success, or the success that didn't match up to what was expected, caused the eventual breakup between Bungie and Activision. So Destiny should have been part of this list, but unfortunately, it just really didn't become that defining moment in this genre and in this current generation of gaming like everybody thought it would.
I had read an interesting thing about Destiny today, was that they originally planned to make the games cross-platform, and you couldn't do it because Sony blocked them from doing it. So they just decided not to do it in general.
That would have helped, but I don't think it would have helped to the point where you could actually talk about Destiny in the same fashion, in the same light you can about GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, Fortnite, PUBG, Apex Legends, and some of the games on your list as well. So, well, have to wait and see what games on the next generation of gaming, which should be coming in sometime in the near future, though what games will be defined by it, and what games will be a big part of this next generation of gaming. We'll have to wait and see, but it will be very interesting as we get better graphics, better experiences, and hopefully more meaningful gameplay from the next generation of consoles. What do you think out there is the game? What do you think out there are the defining games of this current console generation? Share us your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanity Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Woo, my friend! Another great week of pop culture. Again, I want to thank Jason Todd Feinberg and Nutty Nucius for sharing their Marvel memories and how they relate to Endgame. Any last thoughts on the way out?
No, I think we covered it, man. Endgame's coming up right around the corner, and yeah, lots of exciting things on the way. E3's coming up in June. Just it's gonna be a busy few months.
That it is, and hopefully you'll be able to join us if you're here in the Southern Nevada area for Retro City Game Night, and check us out and say hi to us at the Level Up Games and at the Level Up Game Expo as well. Oh, one last thing, man. Cheers. If we were sitting at Cheers, who would you be?
Sam Malone, man. I know like he's the main character and that might be a cop out, but he's always like he's just good at talking to people and he's always managed to keep his cool. And there's just I always remember growing up and seeing that iconic scene, man, where last episode and he flips the sign around saying we're closed and you see the hand knock on the door. Oh, it gives me goosebumps every time. Such a good show. It like there are a few shows that really stand the test of time, but Cheers is one of them, man.
I'll play Cliffy. How about that? I'll be Cliffy.
Okay, all right.
You know,
there's there's Fraser too. You know, you could always jump into that character.
This is true, but if if we had another half hour, I could go ahead and tell you a story just like Cliffy B. Because that's when it comes to Cheers, everybody will always know your name. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's a beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great